17 years old. 17 years old was when I first walked into a gym and began a 4-year transformation that left me unrecognizable. Before I started, I was lazy, undisciplined, depressed, had social anxiety, and had never been on a single date or kissed a girl. As I got more attractive, my dating life improved a ton, and I was actually surprised by how many girls were into me. I gained an inner confidence and discipline that I hadn't had before, and I started seeing how beautiful life could be if you worked hard and built yourself up. In this video, I want to give you the exact same thing by teaching you the 3-step process that I used to achieve it all. A lot of people like to complicate it, but getting an attractive physique is really simple when it comes down to it. It just requires some basic principles applied over a long period of time. The 3 steps are: 1, train daily or at least 6 days a week. 2, eat for your goals. And 3, focus on small improvements over time. To get the most value out of this video, because it will be value packed, you should probably grab a paper and pen and take some notes. Number 1 is to train your body daily or at least 6 days a week using some form of training. I don't know why people like to teach beginners to do 5-day a week or 3-day a week or even less programs, right? As a beginner, the most important thing is consistency. From the very beginning, I would always work out 6 days a week and then rest on Sundays. The reason this is important is because of something called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is essentially the brain's way of forming new habits. And the way neuroplasticity works is the more you perform an action, the more automatic that action becomes. As a beginner, the number 1 issue is going to be consistency and longevity of their training, right? And the number 1 problem that they're going to face is skipping. And so all of those other programs, the 5-day week, the 3-day week, they may work for more advanced lifters who don't have a problem skipping, but the beginners won't be able to follow them because they're not optimizing for that habit building. Everyone thinks that the easiest protocol is the one that the beginners would be able to follow, but the thing is, working out less will actually make them less consistent because of, again, neuroplasticity. I enjoy living the exact same day over and over, having an exact time every day that I know I'll be in the gym. I think it really helps with building a consistent routine. So the priority for us is to work out at least 6 days a week, if not daily. And so what this means for us is, this comes at the cost of intensity sometimes. When you're feeling unmotivated, instead of skipping, right, which that behavior would have been more automatic if you had been on a routine that required less days of the week where you were working out, simply lower the intensity of the workout. Say, I'm only going to just show up to the gym and see how hard I can push myself with no expectations. Or I'm just going to show up to the gym and do 1 exercise. Or instead of an hour workout, I'm going to lower it to 30 minutes. Whatever gets you in the gym, right? But at all costs, maintain consistency. Train regularly, okay? Because when you get into the habit of training regularly, your body is naturally going to adapt, and you're going to undergo that transformation that leaves you unrecognizable. Number 2 is to eat for your goals. I didn't take dieting seriously at the beginning, but diet is about 50%. In fitness, diet is about 50%, and exercise is about 50%, but neither of them work without each other, right? Diet is your vehicle for weight gain or weight loss, so it's extremely important for our purposes if you want to become unrecognizable. What's interesting is diet is actually much harder than exercise. Everyone assumes that diet will be far easier because they think, oh, I'm already eating, so what's the big deal? I just need to change what I eat, or eat less, or eat a little bit more. But the thing is, diet is not just a one-off thing you do during the day, right? It's not just 1 hour, 2 hours of your day as you go to the gym and you perform it and then you can check it off. Dieting is like a full-time job. You have to constantly be on top of it. So dieting is actually harder. So it's very important that you pay attention for this step, for this part of the video. First, define what your goal is. Is it to lose weight and reduce body fat percentage, or is it to gain weight and increase muscle and the size of your frame? For a lot of people, it will be, of course, both, right? We want to gain muscle and lose fat, but you need to decide what is the number 1 priority right now. If your goal is to lose weight and lose fat, then we need to cut. However, if you're under 18, you probably shouldn't cut. We don't really want to stunt your development, right? cutting under 18 can kind of lead to some problems. So if you're under 18, instead of cutting, what you can do is switch to what I call the Stone Age diet, which is just basically whole foods, very natural stuff, kind of as close to nature as possible, and exercise will do the rest, right? You'll lose fat that way without having to cut. Just make sure that you eat clean. If your goal is to gain weight, then you need to bulk. And here's how you do both. To cut, you're gonna focus on two things. One, go into a calorie deficit, so you're actually eating below your maintenance amount of calories every single day. The maintenance amount of calories is the amount of calories that it takes for you to maintain your current weight, right? So if you eat under that, then you're going to lose weight. And second, you're going to focus on eating clean, of course, but avoiding specifically evil carbs, bad carbs. Evil carbs are refined carbs. There's two types of carbs, essentially. There's refined carbs and then there's complex carbs, okay? Complex carbs are good carbs. The sugar molecules for complex carbs are longer, which means it takes longer for them to break down and then be released in the bloodstream. Think of it kind of like a slow release caffeine capsule that some people take, right? So they take certain caffeine capsules, caffeine pills that are slow release. So it releases a steady stream of energy over time. Complex carbs are kind of the same way, okay? Instead of spiking your blood sugar, it'll give you a sustained amount of energy over time. Refined carbs are the opposite. The sugar molecules are much smaller, so the body can kind of process them all at once, and that spikes your blood sugar, and then you crash. And spiking blood sugar is the cause of a lot of issues. It can make you fatter, spiking insulin, stuff like this. It's very, very bad, especially for weight loss and fat loss. I'm going to tell you the refined carbs and the complex carbs now. You can look up full lists later. Refined carbs, white carbs, so stuff like breads, pastas, right? Even white rice can be refined carbs. And like sugar, cane sugar, stuff like this, right? These are refined carbs. You want to avoid these as much as you possibly can. Complex carbs, it's a fucking ambulance. I hope they're okay. Complex carbs are stuff like sweet potatoes, lentils, black beans, whole grains, brown rice, oats, stuff like this. By the way, I should let you know that fruits are also refined carbs. They're not complex carbs. I used to think they were complex at the beginning, but turns out they're not. This doesn't mean avoid fruit altogether. You can have some fruit, but definitely limit how much that you consume. Also, I think that fructose has some negative effects if you're trying to lose weight and lose fat. For both of these, you need to make sure that your macros are correct. So macros or macronutrients are the three biggest nutrients for weightlifters and fitness. That's proteins, carbs, and fats. And you need to make sure that you're portioning them correctly so you're not overdoing one but underdoing another. I'm gonna tell you a story. A while back, I was trying really, really hard to bulk and I was in a calorie surplus, but I wasn't able to gain any weight and it was extremely frustrating. One day while I was working out and I was kind of ruminating on this in my mind and I was at the squat rack, I decided to check my tracker, which I'm going to tell you exactly what tracker that is so you can do the same thing. And I decided to flip over to the macros tab so that I could see if there was anything weird going on there. And I realized even though I was hitting my calorie goal every single day and I was hitting my protein, I was actually blowing past protein. I was never hitting my carb goal. And carbs are extremely valuable for trying to gain weight. So I fixed that and I started gaining weight again. So I don't want you to fall into the same trap. We need to keep on top of your macros. They should be all right if you just eat regularly and you are in a calorie surplus. But we just want to make sure that they are correct so you don't have the same issue that I did. Now here's how to track for success. You're going to download a very popular diet tracking app called MyFitnessPal, right? It's completely free. And there's a paid version, but you don't need the paid version. Go into your phone. This is an actionable step. Stop this video, go into your phone, look up MyFitnessPal and download that app. And what you're going to do is track every single meal that you have every single day. If you search around the app a little bit, there's a tab for macros where you can see all of the macros you've eaten for that day. And you just want to make sure that every single day you're hitting your macro goals. If you're focused on macros, then honestly, calories are not that important to keep on top of because you definitely will hit your calorie goal if you're focused on your macros. Some people say they don't need to track calories or macros in order to gain or lose weight. If this is you, great. I know it's not me. I always need to track because it's extremely difficult for me to gain weight. So if I'm not tracking, I'm just not going to end up hitting my goal. If you really feel that you don't want to track all of the time, at least track it for a day and see how many calories and macros that you're eating, and then just make sure that you're not overestimating some or underestimating some, right? Also, when you set up an account with MyFitnessPal, you can set your goals. Make sure you set your goal to whatever your dieting goal is. That is to lose weight, gain weight, etc., right? Because then it'll calculate the exact calories and macros that you need to consume every single day. Now, of course, if you want to transform your physique, you always need to eat healthy. Focus on the Stone Age diet that I explained before. But in order to bulk or cut, gain weight or lose weight, right, kind of to change how much you weigh, you should go into a short season or arc where you intensely focus on one of those goals. It's basically a short season of very intense consistency. This is far easier than trying to do it over the long term because at the beginning, I wanted to gain weight, right? So I was basically on a continuous 4-year bulk up until this point. The problem with going on a continuous bulk, I now weigh 180 pounds. I weighed 135 at the very, very start. The problem with going on a continuous bulk is that after the initial gains within the first year of lifting, of transforming your body, it gets very, very difficult to make any more because your body's naturally, when you first start, you're going from 0 to 1, right? I'm not doing anything to now I'm doing something. But then you try and go from 1 to 100. So it's much harder to make progress. I was extremely inconsistent during that time. The problem with being inconsistent is if I eat a lot one day to try and gain weight, but then I'm tired and I don't eat anything, I eat a very small amount the next day, that just averages out to a medium amount of food for both days. So it doesn't work, right? What you need is a short period of maybe a couple months or several weeks where you are extremely consistent and on top of your goals. And every single day you achieve your calorie goals, whether that's cutting or bulking, right? Make progress within these short seasons. And then in the rest of the time, just maintain that weight until you feel the need to bulk up or cut down, right? Step number 3 in transforming your body is a very important one, and that is to focus on small improvements often. Too many people expect too many results too fast. That's why people quit so often. When they don't see results fast enough, they get discouraged and then they become inconsistent and start skipping a lot, or they just simply abandon trying to transform their physique, right? Instead of focusing on results, which you can't control directly, focus on small improvements over time, small micro improvements over time, as often as possible. Go an extra rep, right, on that exercise. Try and add extra weight. Add 5 pounds the next time you can. Go an extra mile if you're doing something like running. Go an extra mile or try and go your regular distance in a shorter amount of time. Focus on micro improvements as often as you can. Every single day that you perform whatever exercise you're doing, try and improve. You don't have to improve by a lot, okay? I think people underestimate how long it takes to become an athlete. People train years, literal decades to get insane physiques, okay? None of this stuff happens overnight. So instead of trying to control the results, which you can't control them directly, focus on micro improvements in exercise, and the results will follow as you improve. Finally, take a ton of progress pictures so you can see results as soon as they start happening. And once you notice results from your transformation, come back to this video and leave a comment encouraging other people and sharing your progress in your journey. If you got any value from this video, there's something you can do which is a win-win for both of us, which is to scroll down and click the subscribe button. I win because I get a new subscriber. You win because anytime I have a new insight, learn something new, or try something new, I can make a video and directly give you value. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Oh, and the top link in the description is my full program if you want a more detailed course on how to transform your physique to become extremely aesthetic and attractive. Bye.